Hello, Saddlebrook 2. I'm Matt Campick, your president.
And I'm Walter Yazzie, your general manager.
We're here today to give you our Friday update on the Mountain View loan and where we stand.
Starting with the bottom line up front, in July, we started with a principal of $4,509,467. So far in July, we've paid on the principal $1,883,482, which leaves us today with a balance of $2,625,984.
This is a simple ledger sheet we put together to help track each payment that we're making and to be able to explain it to you, our members, on how we're going about this business of paying off this loan. So you can see we have 2 weeks of activity here, the week of 2 July and then the week of 9 July, this week's activities. Those dates are when the actual payments were applied to our loan. Second column is the principal balance. That was the balance of record before we made a payment. The third column is the payment that we made itself. The fourth column talks about the source of funds. Walter and I are going to explain the source of funds for you in detail. And then the ending principal balance. You take the starting principal balance, you subtract the payment, you get the ending principal balance. And as you can see here, what Walter's already told you, our principal balance has been reduced by $1,883,482 so far in the first 2 weeks of the month. Our sources of funds. Last week, all we had to report out was the special assessment funds we received from our residents. Those assessment funds received allowed us to begin paying the loan off as quickly as we can. I call this the Santora rule because Larry Santora was the person that gave us this idea. Let's pay the loan off as quickly as we can and save the interest. The second source of funds is $210,000, and we'll explain more about that. The liquidated damages was a penalty against Desert Reflections for failing to meet the target construction date for substantial completion on the project. The undisbursed loan proceeds were the dollars that were not used that were in the contingency in the loan itself. And the monthly loan payments, obviously we had a 5-year loan with 60 payments due, and Walter's going to talk more about that in a minute.
So first I'd like to talk a little bit more about this special assessment. We had 3,184 homes. We assessed $1,500 each home, which gives us a total of $4,776,000. With the funds available to us, we've paid so far $1,296,000 toward the loan. So that leaves $3,480,000 that we still have to receive.
As I mentioned earlier, $210,000 were the liquidated damages, the penalty clause with Desert Reflections for their failure to meet the targeted completion date. The $284,706 were the undisbursed contingency funds. The total proceeds that the HOA, received from Alliance Bank last week were $494,706. I will point out the board voted unanimously to utilize these funds immediately to pay down the loan. And so that's exactly what's been done this week.
Now a little bit more on the monthly payments we make on the loan. So monthly payments are due the 9th of each month. The July payment is actually the 18th of 60 payments. And that payment was $119,081. Of that, interest is $26,304 and principal is $92,777.
So Walter and I are going to end where we started. We had a starting principal balance of $4,509,467 at the beginning of the month. And I can report to you today that our principal balance is $2,625,984. $625,984. I would have to say our thanks go out to all the residents who have already paid their special assessments because you've made this possible. In closing, Walter and I want you to know that his staff and our board members are working together to ensure that we continue to advance the quality of life for each of you here in Saddlebrook 2. A wonderful place to live. Thank you.
Thank you.